Atheist Nomads, episode 174, news for November 24, 2016. And, of course, happy Thanksgiving.
Yay!
Welcome to another episode of Atheist Nomads. I am Dustin, and I forgot that I decided to try the music-only one. Joining me, as always, is Wesley.
Hey guys, how you doing? Or wait, I'm supposed to say, hey everybody.
Lauren's again not feeling well, so she's not with us. But it is Thanksgiving.
She's here in spirit.
Yeah, she might join us later if her headache goes away, but we'll see. It's doubtful. But it should be gone by Thanksgiving. We were recording on Tuesday as usual, and but yeah, this is day of release is Thanksgiving Day. It's the day to celebrate my ancestor having food with people who he would later be fighting.
Yeah, and giving them like smallpox blankets, and you know
that came later. That came later. Yeah, we need to focus on this one. I think it is good with this one to focus on
the good.
Those first couple years before everything turned to hell.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, because it was it was a dinner of friends and allies, and it was only a couple years later that they joined together in a war against one of the tribe's enemies, and then yeah.
Oh boy.
And we should also probably spend a moment thinking about the natives who are still fighting for their land, getting shot with water cannons in freezing North Dakota.
Yeah, that's anymore. That's not just natives. I mean, there's a lot of people coming from around the country. I know of one person local that's been out there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you got time, you got resources, and you don't mind getting, you know, blasted with high pressure water or, you know, rubber bullets, you might want to join them. That's a hell of a cause.
Yeah. And it's a crazy one when you consider the fact that they're bringing in cops from all around, and many of those cops are refusing to go back because of how bad it is.
Well, the way I understand it, I mean, the last day or two, they've been actually, you know, there's been sub-zero temperatures at night, and they're actually spraying the people down with, you know, high pressure water, and, you know, people are getting fucking hypothermia. Mm-hmm. Great. That's just great.
Yeah. So protest corporate interest, and you get sprayed by the cops. Unarmed protest of corporate interest, and you'll get sprayed by cops. Armed occupation of a government compound, and you'll get acquitted.
And I know that rubber bullets are not accurate at all, but I've heard that people are getting their heads targeted now.
Ooh.
So, you know, if you aim for the chest, it depends on the range. You know, it could definitely hit somebody higher or lower. I don't know. But I've seen a couple articles where people are getting, like, you know, fucking bopped in the fucking head, and that's no joke with those things.
Damn.
Those are less lethal, supposedly.
Yeah. It's and that's the one thing that does get forgotten sometimes is non-lethal force is not accurate. Less lethal force is accurate. Rubber bullets, beanbags, net guns, tasers.
You don't have to have a fucking heart problem to drop dead with a fucking taser.
No. You just have a really good chance of dropping dead if you have a heart problem. But with a lot of those, I think I would love it if the default was for police to use those less lethal means as much as possible, and use traditional firearms in like the rarest of situations only.
Well,
that'd be a good start.
I wouldn't mind if we went like pretty much, British, where, cops have clubs or maybe no weapons at all. A fucking little book to write stuff down. If there's a weapon around, it's like in their trunk. They should be a lot of distance between a gun and anybody, really.
Well, my understanding is British cops have no special rights to guns, but they do have a rule that if you are licensed to have a firearm, you must have it if you are a police officer. It's just most cops aren't, because most people aren't licensed to have firearms there.
No, and I like their solution for regular folk. I mean, if you have a pistol rifle, the way I understand it, it has to stay at the gun club. In most cases, that's where its home is.
Interesting.
I'm sure somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my backwater understanding.
Huh. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to a couple announcements. We're already a few minutes in, but we have a new patron feed for the show. This is being run through Patreon. Our supporters on PayPal have been sent it's officially the test link, but it does work. It's the one that I got. And this is for our patrons, though, on Patreon. Each one of you, when you sign up, if you are already a patron, you already got a message from Patreon with it. So if you're listening to this not using that feed, go look at your messages on Patreon and just replace your subscription to us in whatever podcatcher you use. I use, and I know Wesley, at least last I talked to you, you used Dogcatcher as well.
Love Dogcatcher on Android. Yeah.
But it works with, you can do it in iTunes. You can do it in all of the podcatchers that allow you to manually put in a RSS feed. So with stuff like Stitcher and Google Play, you're out of luck. But for anything else, you can. And of course, you can also just listen to it on the Patreon page or in the Patreon app. So those are all options as well.
And, as far as Dogcatcher goes, if you know how to get a hold of me and you don't know how to do this on yours, okay, hit me up. I'll help walk you through it.
Yeah. And so what's going on with the patron feed, since that is kind of important, is we don't always do bonus content, but sometimes we do. And I've been experimenting with different ways of doing it periodically. With sometimes it's just extended episodes, and other times it is just the bit that was cut from the main episode. And what it's going to be instead is just straight up extended episodes. And so on the patron feed, you will have the longest version of the show that there is. So either the extended version, or if there is no extended episode, just the regular episode. So I think I beat that one to death. But if you want access to it and you're not already a patron, become a patron. Yeah. And we are trying out Zencastr. This is a relatively new platform for podcasters to record. And should be interesting. It is recording us right now. And recording both of us. It should be going directly to my Dropbox. And we'll get separate files for each of us. When we have a guest that's remote, we'll be able to have the guest on Zencastr as well, and recording the guest audio with no extra work for the guest, recording locally on site. So that should be really cool, and it won't require me to be using two separate computers for audio with two separate Skype sessions.
Sweet. So for any of you, audio geeks out there, check it out. This would be pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. For everybody else, you won't really notice the difference. Yeah.
If anything, the cases where the quality seems a little bit lower should be less common. But you can find it at zencastr.com. And so let's go ahead and move on to dusting off the degree. I was on the Thanks for Giving streamathon for Recovering from Religion this past weekend. And one of the questions I got asked was, what would my advice be for somebody who's at the start of the process of losing his, her, or others' faith? And the best answer I could come up with was a series of sermons I did for a teen Pathfinder. Pathfinders are like the Adventist Church's version of Boy Scouts, since Boy Scouts are way too secular for them, too heathen.
Even though they're run by the Mormons generally.
Yeah, those are heathens.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, so Teen Pathfinder rock climbing weekend, and I was a senior in college, senior theology major, and at that point, I was not really a Christian. Yes, I'd managed to shore up my faith a little bit later, but at that moment, I wasn't buying it, and I had to preach to these teenagers, and actually managed to pull it off without saying anything I didn't believe in, and feeling good about it, and everybody loving it, the adults included. Wow. And the basic message was, don't be afraid of your doubts. You can't run from them because they will always come back. If you study them, explore them, and follow them to their conclusion, one of two things will happen. Either your faith will be stronger and more mature, or you'll realize that what you lost there wasn't really any loss in what you lost. And yeah, that's really the way, and that's basically skepticism. If something doesn't seem right, ask questions and dig deep. Because it's so easy to try to brush stuff off. But if it's something that you actually care about, something that's important to you, it's going to be hard to brush those doubts aside. I when I was going through my 5 years of extended doubt, I kept trying to brush it off. It never worked. I had to run those doubts to their conclusion and then see what was on the other side. And I had to do that over and over and over again until I was no longer a Christian, and then a little bit after that, an atheist. And what's funny is the fact that the adults there running the event weren't unhappy with me, because I was talking to a group of Adventist teenagers. And Adventists have a very, very high rate of kids leaving the church. Like, the vast majority leave the church.
How many of them come back in adulthood, though?
Not that many.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, there's some. Like, okay, so there's I would assume probably about a quarter the quarter of the backslidden kids, after they have children of their own, will go back. But the rest either just straight up won't, or will make their way to atheist.
Oh, damn.
All right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll be back with news. Atheist Nomads is proudly brought to you by Archway Hosting. Check out their low-price, full-featured hosting solutions at archwayhosting.com. That's ARCHWAY hosting.com.
Hey, we're also brought to you by listeners just like you. Find out how you can become a patron at patreon.com/atheist nomads. That's patreon.com/atheist nomads.
Jerry Falwell Jr. met with Donald Trump and Mike Pence last week, and according to some reports, is being considered for education secretary.
Makes perfect sense.
Or some other high-ranking position in the education department. Falwell is the president of Liberty University and has backed Trump since very early in the primary process. And among other things, he wants to end as much of the education department's regulation of colleges and universities as possible.
Yeah. I'm sure this is going to be a shining moment for our nation if that happens.
Yeah. Falwell is a far right-wing blowhard. He is the son of Jerry Falwell Sr., the Southern Baptist pastor who created the moral majority.
Which was neither moral or a majority.
No, it was just...
It's a hate group to me.
Politically motivated conservative Christianity.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
Falwell has continued that. He's... Oh, man, it's... The fact that he's a creationist and might be taking over the education department is actually the least scary thing about him getting that job. Oh, man. Fuck. Hey, I'm jumping in from editing. Donald Trump did make his actual pick for education secretary, and that was Betsy DeVos. She is a billionaire and very outspoken advocate for charter schools and vouchers, which means the new head of the education department will be somebody who wants taxpayer money being able to go to religious schools. Hooray! I say with as much sarcasm as possible. Now, back to what we recorded yesterday.
Well, I mean, he's not alone. I mean, Sarah Palin was thinking about trying to get a position in the Department of Energy, I think it was.
Interior.
Mm-hmm.
Get to run federal land.
Well, I mean, that's... If you listen to the interview that she has, she wants Department of Energy.
Oh, wow. So,
yeah, because she doesn't know what the Department of Interior actually is. She was saying, it would be a short job, but she would take it because she would basically try and close the whole thing down because she wants, to end our dependence on outside oil and energy from other people, other nations. But yeah, she wanted the quote unquote the Department of Energy
to shut it down,
essentially.
Wow.
To stop regulations, to stop our importing foreign oil. But yeah, it wasn't Department of Interior. I mean, that's what she meant, but no, it's not what she said. Oh boy. The Young Turks are good for something. I listened to that interview yesterday. That was some stupid shit. Don't you know?
That is insane. And a bunch of other of the people being thrown around as possible cabinet picks. Oh, okay. The one that's already completely picked, Senator Sessions from Alabama, who was rejected by the Senate for a judicial appointment in the 80s for being too racist.
Yeah. I mean, he can deny it, but that shit's on record.
And the trend isn't for people to get less racist as they get older.
Well, and none of his picks are looking good. I mean, I don't know if Mike Pompeo is still his pick for the CIA, but this dude has said that Snowden should be essentially have a trial and then executed for treason.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Trump's picking some fucking winners. I mean, this whole thing of draining the swamp. No, I mean, he's going for like fucking red-blooded Republican diehard fanatic motherfuckers. None of this changing America, making it great again, whatever the fuck that means.
Well, if you look at the list of people he's considering, most of them are lobbyists, venture capitalists, or currently in the legislature.
Or his fucking kids. I mean, he wants them to have top secret clearance from what I've read. So, that whole separation between the president and his businesses or whatnot. I mean, that's not going to be there because what the hell?
Oh, man.
I'm kind of rambling, but what the fuck? I mean, a president is supposed to have some distance between his investments or businesses and, the office. What's going on?
Yeah, the tradition is a blind trust.
A blind trust, and
where you don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. And Trump says his kids are going to run the business. Those same kids that he's getting, high clearances for, or trying to. So,
man, I hope the bureaucracy stops that.
I don't think it's gonna.
Oh, probably not. No. Shit. And what's really scary is the odds are pretty good that Trump will get himself impeached, possibly be the first one to actually be convicted and removed from office, or more likely forced to resign in disgrace. But then we're stuck with Pence.
I saw a funny Facebook post on this earlier today, saying, Trump is going to be the first Republican that Democrats are going to fight him getting kicked out just so they keep Pence out of the office.
Yeah. Well, and then it's not even just, so even if somehow both Trump and Pence were forced to resign or were assassinated or something,
then we're left with what?
Paul Ryan. Who would auction off the government to the lowest bidder.
Sure, but he looks sexy in sweatpants. God, fucking weirdo.
It's horrible that the two best outcomes I can see for this are 4 years of a Trump presidency or a military coup.
I'm almost for the coup because, short of something horrible, drastic happening to lots of people, this isn't looking good.
No.
I mean, President, VP, Speaker of the House, who's a go-to after that?
President Pro Tem of the Senate, which I think is Orrin Hatch.
Ugh.
It tends to be the oldest or the longest serving senator from the majority party.
Great. So, yeah, another Republican.
Then it goes to Treasury Secretary.
Oh. Huh.
Who will probably be...
I don't even know.
A bank executive or venture capitalist.
No better or worse. But then again,
Secretary of State, who might be Mitt Romney. Or Newt Gingrich.
Oh, God. If you get down that far on the list, people, their butts might start puckering. Like, okay, I better not fuck this up. People are getting knocked off left and right.
Well, and one of the problems for it to actually get down to, say, a cabinet officer is you would need basically the president, vice president, and both houses of Congress to be destroyed at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I'm saying something horribly horrible, because I'm imagining some, Independence Day style movie thing happening.
Ah, shit. And no, we are not advocating for any kind of overthrow.
We are not advocating for aliens to come down here and, blow up Trump and Pence. Because, no.
Besides, Pence would probably like the anal probing.
It seems like the people that, are most vehemently against something generally are into something like that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I even saw one article saying that Pence went through gay conversion therapy back in the 80s.
What?
However, that probably ties in with our next story, fake news. There has been a lot of press recently about fake news sites, the way Facebook and Google have inadvertently promoted them, and what impact they had on the election. For example, Steve Bannon, the chairman of Breitbart, the alt-right news site whose content ranges from bias to flat-out racist lies, has been made Trump's chief strategist And Alex Jones of the conspiracy theory site InfoWars claims that Trump called him to thank him for helping him win the election. Unfortunately, the left wasn't innocent either, with sites like Americans Against the Republican Party and Occupy Democrats being found to have also run biased, misleading, or false stories. And I think it was Americans Against the Republican Party is where I saw that Pence was went through gay conversion therapy, and I have a hard time believing that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, I might post some raw story articles on occasion, but you know, the ones I post generally have links to lots of other sites. So yeah. At least it has a little bit of corroboration. But I'm not saying it's a great site for news, but you know, they're doing a little bit of due diligence sometimes.
Well, Raw Story, as an example, I haven't seen them on any of the lists of fake news sites.
Oh.
Because what they do is they usually repost traditional news sources.
Yeah.
And when it's not that, they are linking to and citing sources for local news articles. Where it gets a bit more questionable is when they're citing Friendly Atheists as their source. News that's citing a blog is backwards.
Well, I mean, unless the blog Hement is directly involved in the story. Yeah.
Right, which he usually isn't.
Yeah.
It's
Hement's a reposter himself usually.
Yeah. So it's one of those. Yeah, it's the line between blog and news site has blurred.
Well, it shouldn't. I mean, if you see a fat white guy like me sitting in front of the keyboard on their head page of their heading, you know, it's probably, you know, probably shouldn't pay attention to it as much. I'm just saying. It's mostly, you know, overweight, middle-aged white guys that are posting most of the shit. So, you know, be wary.
Yeah, and
trust me implicitly.
Well, to be completely blunt, we are a podcast.
Yeah, don't fucking trust us either. Shit, look this stuff up yourself.
We provide commentary on the news, not reporting of the news. Yes, we talk about news. We talk about things that happened. But our sources are only as good the news that we are reporting on is only as accurate as the sources that we're drawing from. And then even more fallible because we're human and it's the telephone game.
And all we're doing is talking shit about stuff that we read. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. It's the whole, you know, basing your facts on things. If it's somebody that does commentary about the news, that is in a category that is not news. And Occupy Democrats would be an example of a site that they provide commentary about the news. It is biased partisan commentary. Breitbart and InfoWars do biased commentary about the news. Those are not news sites.
It's fun yet scary to watch him go on a starry-eyed rant, and then now I'm talking about Alex Jones and take his shirt off and jiggle for everybody. He's done that before. Ugh.
Wow. But I do want to encourage you to clean your Facebook feed of some of the fake news. I have done that. I am sure I probably shared a few fake articles in the days before the election, as everyone I am sure did. But yeah. And Google is actually making one change as a result of this. They are removing their in the news section.
Huh.
And it's going to be replaced eventually with top stories.
Huh. That's just weird.
Yeah. Well, in the news started out as drawing from vetted media sources, trusted traditional media outlets. So places like the New York Times and CNN. And then they decided to go ahead and let in blogs and aggregators and create more variety in the voices that were heard.
Well, I know in my Google Now section on my Android, I've got suggested for me, top stories for me.
So the in the news is with the Google searches on desktop.
So happens I have a lot of comic book stuff in my feed. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and both Google and Facebook have gotten a lot of criticism about this, and people are pressuring them to return to having human editors.
Oh God, that'll never happen.
They both got rid of their human editors not too long ago. So it's all just computer algorithms based on how popular something is as to how it gets placed, and also how likely you are to like it. Also being tied in. So you're not just going to get everything that's popular. You're going to get everything that's popular that they think you'll like.
Whether or not it's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And let's go ahead and take another break.
All right.
We love hearing from our listeners. You can email us at contact@atheistnomads.com, tweet us at atheistnomads, send us a message on our Facebook page at facebook.com/atheistnomads, or better yet, call us and leave us a message at 541-203-0666. We might even play it on the show. You can also help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcast directory of choice. Simon Sayers, the vicar of Warburton and Emsworth Parish in Hampshire, England, was arrested last year over an incident in the 90s with a 16-year-old girl. The police then released him and told him that they wouldn't pursue it any further. The Church of England then received a complaint and started their own investigation. Their conclusion was that his touching the girl above the waist, which I put in quotes in the show notes because that means he groped her boobs, and kissing her was inappropriate for a minister and a married man, and he's been suspended for 5 years from the ministry. When Sayers told his congregation and said that he was resigning, several church members, including members of the choir, walked out in protest. One of them, Norman Piers, said, "Yes, the church has standards, but the church also preaches a message of grace, forgiveness, and pastoral care. These things seem to be sorely lacking in the heavy-handed response by church authorities. The hierarchy has turned its back on a much-loved man after years of sacrificial service." End quote.
Yeah, so the Church of England, the C of E, is like as watered down as you can get, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? For them to actually take this action, which is not enough in the first place, even the C of E is like, fuck, this is bad. We need to do something. So as small as this is, I'm glad that they did it. And I say that, shaking my head.
Yeah. The pastor claimed that his actions were with a woman who was above the age of consent.
I don't know what the age of consent is over there.
That's what Google is for.
England, age of consent.
16. So he didn't actually do anything illegal, hence why the police didn't get involved.
Well, luckily his vein of Christianity allows him to be married, so maybe he should be faithful and follow his vows and not cheat on his wife. So,
and not take advantage of a 16-year-old girl.
Well, supposedly England says it's not taken advantage of, but it's still fucking creepy and probably an abuse of power.
Pastor,
if that was, part of his flock.
It all appears that she was a part of his flock. These encounters happened while he was doing pastoral visits. And that is a gross abuse of power.
And just gross.
especially considering the age difference. Even without the age difference, if it had been a 30-year-old woman or a 40-year-old woman, it would have still been inappropriate considering the power dynamic. But you factor in the age difference, and that is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
And a 5-year suspension was going light on him.
Totally. He should be fucking glad that he got just that. I hope he gets to work at Walmart or some really shit job for a while. Man. I mean, seriously, what's going on with these fucking pastors? I mean, well, it's nothing new, so why am I surprised?
Yeah. All right, well, you've got the next one.
Yeah, so the first after-school Satan Club meets in Portland, Oregon. That was just a couple days ago on the 16th. Hooray! Nice. Yeah, so this was in the Sacramento Elementary School in Portland. Making sure that's clear. And yeah, a dude that I've met a couple times, Finn Rez, is the leader of the newly formed Portland group of the Satanic Temple, and he opened it up, and so the meeting was held at the same time as the Christian group, the Good News Club, which is Bible-based after-school program whose purpose is to evangelize to good little boys and girls with the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ, and to establish discipline, aka the Word of God, in a local church of a Christian group. So unlike the Good News Club, though, the After School Satan Club does not try to convert children to one religious ideology or another, and it instead exposes kids to different belief systems and encourages them to think for themselves. So how awesome is that?
Yeah, well, especially, it's elementary school.
And yeah, it's elementary school. It's not a church, even though they're using schoolrooms to do this.
Why the hell are organizations like this allowed in elementary schools?
Well, usually because it's free, I'm guessing, or very, very minimal charge. And you know what?
That's
where the kids allowed. Are at.
Yeah, it straight up should not be allowed. You shouldn't. This is elementary school. These kids are very young, very impressionable. And allowing events with the explicit intent to evangelize. And yes, my anger is with the Good News Club. Allowing that into an elementary school is atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that is the most fucked up thing, is to let a church in and teach shit that just isn't real. And you know what? Bring in more followers for, to suck money from and get more people into the pews later in life. It's just kind of creepy and fucked up. Yeah. Also, Tacoma is in the news for this. Almost forgot to mention that there is an after-school Satan Club approved for a Tacoma Elementary School coming up pretty soon here, which, will be part of my group's activities. Hooray!
Which is because that school also has a Good News Club.
Totally. It's going to be at the Point Defiance Elementary School, which is actually pretty damn close to where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah. And really close to where I used to live.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't just like random pickings for after school Satan. No, they're going where, there's already Christian groups well established.
Mm-hmm.
So if you let one in, you got to fucking let them all in.
Right. And much like so much of the cool stuff the Satanic Temple does.
Yeah.
The whole point is this shouldn't be happening, so we're going to make you stop. And if not, provide a nice alternative.
A nice science-based alternative that, that can actually help a kid. like their coloring books that they put out. This is a body positive, person positive after school function that, can help teach a little bit of science, help people deal with bullies, perhaps. This is good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Yeah. Of course, Portland was met with some protests and, people holding signs and crying and apparently bagpipes even.
Wow.
I guess they just want to cause such a ruckus. Boy. Make sure that God can hear them and all their prayers. And so that'll, help shut the club down somehow.
If they do succeed in shutting it down, it will also mean the end of their Precious Jesus Club.
It fucking better.
Or a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's where it comes into play.
That's how that works. Yeah.
When the Satanic Temple first got talked about, and I thought they were just like an awesome troll group, and I wanted to kind of be a part of that, but over the last couple of years, this is a group that actually is doing good for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wholeheartedly endorse them myself as an atheist.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and take our last break.
As a listener of the show, I'm going to assume you love my sexy vocal stylings. If you love the rest of the show as much as my voice, consider giving us the resources we desperately need to purchase quality cocaine and Red Bull. We make it super easy to make a one-time donation or to support us on a per-episode, monthly, or even annual basis using PayPal or Patreon. Find out more at atheistnomads.com. Use the links on the right side of the page. $1 an episode is all we ask.
Lethabo Rabalago is a pastor and prophet in South Africa who thinks that a pesticide can heal people. His poison of choice is called doom.
What?
Uh-huh. Wherever people are having problems, he will spray it on them in that area. Now, there's even a picture in the article of him spraying a woman in the face with it. And he claims that he was curing her eye infection and that she was fine afterwards. And apparently he can also cure cancer and HIV with this pesticide and the power of God.
Oh, no.
Yeah. A post on his church's Facebook says, "Doom is just a name, but when you speak it to become a healing product, it does. People get healed and delivered through Doom." The company that makes Doom has been trying to get in touch with him with no luck to ask him to stop using their product in such unsafe ways. And the South Africa Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Cultural, Religious, and Linguistic Communities, that is a long name for an organization, has also condemned this practice.
There's only been one good Doom, and that's like a video game from like 1993 or 4. After that, no. Holy shit, a pesticide called Doom.
Uh-huh. And he's spraying it in people's eyes.
Sure. That should be a thing. Yeah. Even if it did cure her eye infection, is she just like fucking are they just tripping balls on like an LSD trip kind of thing? What?
There's another picture where he's spraying a man in the eye and his eye is actually open.
Oh no.
I don't know how well, it looks like he's spraying off to the side at that point. In the picture with the woman, her face is completely drenched.
No. I wonder if Lethabo gets like a bulk discount. God, what? Wow.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, pesticides, yes, they are designed to kill insects. They are very effective at killing insects.
This one's so good, it's called fucking Doom.
they aren't all that good at killing humans unless you get them in very, very high doses. And I don't know the actual stats on Doom, but like Roundup's an herbicide, not a pesticide, but like supposedly you can drink a glass of Roundup and you'll be perfectly fine. But damn, this stuff it's still nasty. You should not be spraying it on people. Ah, man. The Federal Trade Commission has issued a new policy statement providing guidance on how you can market homeopathic drugs. And so this applies only to over-the-counter homeopathic drugs. So those are products that are intended solely for self-limiting diseases that are amenable to self-diagnosis. So anything that would need, that makes claims for something you can't self-diagnose or a disease that won't get better if you don't get treatment, it doesn't apply to, because you need a prescription in that case.
So like homeopathy for cancer.
Yeah, that would require a prescription. And if they are selling something that they make claims that it can treat cancer, that would already be illegal, because if it can treat cancer, it needs a prescription by definition. So the requirement is that any claims they make have to be either backed up by science or needs to have a warning that is at least as large as the claim itself that says that it is not based in science and that the claim is backed up by homeopathic tradition dating back to the late 1700s or something to that effect.
Well, I mean, lots of great stuff came from that time, I'm sure. Like shoes with buckles.
Bifocal glasses.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Yeah.
There was also a lot of cholera and diphtheria and smallpox and...
Yeah, just minor things. Don't worry about that. Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Heck, the late 1700s, that was the time period where we got the fucking Electoral College.
Oh, great. Yeah, yet another thing we need to get rid of.
Yeah. But this is really awesome to see. The labels on it won't discourage people who actually believe in homeopathy to the true believers from using those drugs. But there are people who accidentally get homeopathic stuff, not knowing that it's homeopathy.
Not knowing it's really shitty tasting sugar candy.
Yeah. Heck, not too long ago, Lauren picked up a calming treat for the dogs at Petco, only to find out it was homeopathic.
Were they at least like beef or turkey flavored or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least they're dog treats.
They were homeopathic chew treats. So a little better than just sugar pills, but still they were just... Yeah, that's... you can get duped when the labeling is not clear, and this is going to require that the labeling at least be clear. It'd be nice if they could just force them to say, this is bullshit, don't buy it, but no.
That would be nice.
Now, the FDA is still reviewing homeopathy, and with any luck, they will bring them under standard pharmaceutical requirements of being able to prove efficacy, meaning being able to prove that it works, that it does something.
Oh, I'm really surprised that it went this far, and I'm happy that it did, but I'm sure that Big Homeo has, a few bucks to throw around themselves and keep their heads off the complete chopping block.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of that, but they also talked about it on... they talked about this on the last SGU, and Steve said that that policy decision dated back to the 1950s when homeopathy was such a minor thing that the FDA didn't think it was worth their time and effort.
Yeah, well.
And it's a bit bigger now.
Yeah. So, it seems that Pope Francis extends Catholic priests' power to forgive abortion, among other things, recently. So, hooray for that. But what the fuck in the first place? I mean, just get the fuck out of their pants and just die already. Fuck, I don't know what to say about this. This is horrible still.
Yeah.
Sure, great. He says another ineffectual thing.
Right. So this is a continuation of the special dispensation that he granted for the Year of Mercy, which finished on Sunday. And before that, only bishops or very specially designated confessors could absolve the sin of abortion. Now all priests can.
I like that. Special confessors?
Yeah.
Wow. So they're like super priests or something.
Well, just one of the types of super priests. There's others who become exorcists.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And some focus on abusing little boys. And
well, I was gonna say, I wish I could believe, so I could be I could fucking take demons out of people, but not that second part. So
yeah.
Oh man.
This is.
There's such a disconnect here. I mean, this man should not fucking matter, and it's sad that he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and like seriously, women who resorted to have an abortion don't fucking need your forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? Anyways,
yeah, because it's one of those things that people usually don't get abortions on whims.
No,
they have really good reasons, and it's none of anybody else's fucking business.
And you know what? Even if it was a fucking whim, it's none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the reason.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of her fucking pants.
Exactly.
Shit. Yeah, it's her body and her fucking little alien that's gestating in there.
I would go with tumor. In the first trimester, it's a tumor.
I just think of a little chest popper, alien style.
Yeah, I'd go with first trimester. It's a tumor. Second trimester, it's a human-like tumor, and then third trimester, it's almost human.
But even when it's born, just not quite human. Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason I had a vasectomy. Nobody wants me like having another me. Just yeah. A lot of atheists still celebrate Christmas, just because it's a fun reason to give presents and celebrate some jelly fat man in a red suit, and
drink alcohol and eat food and see family and then have to drink alcohol because you saw family.
Oh god, yeah. But you know what? For all those lovely family gatherings, you have that tree. You might just have a tree up. And you know what? Trees are pretty and they smell good. And why don't you get a Baphomet Glass Tree Topper and just really fuck with your family this year? This would be so awesome.
That is so cool.
So yeah, there's this website called middleofbeyond.com. And we're going to have a link to this in the show notes. It's actually kind of cool. Little Baphomet Glass Tree Topper. It's a little jewel and sparkly red eyes. And yeah, get that. And you just wait and see how your mom reacts. It's going to be great. I'm not even we're not getting paid to promote this shit at all. I just think it's fucking awesome. So yeah, check it out, because Middle of Beyond, and
it's pretty awesome. God damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
If me and Meredith have a tree ever again, this is going on there. Oh, did you see that, baby?
I've seen it. I know that one.
I've yeah. Holy shit. Oh no.
All right, we have no feedback.
I might
no
even
new
start
supporters.
sharing cat pictures if you guys want.
But you can always email us at atheistnomad or contact at atheistnomads.com. Call us at 541-203-0666 and leave us a voicemail. That's our favorite
And
way
don't
of getting
forget-
feedback.
Oh yeah.
And
don't forget,
also,
tis
you can hit us
the
up on
fucking
Facebook,
season
Twitter,
to
and,
give gifts and shit like that if you
those are the
so
main
inclined.
ones.
So use that
and
Amazon
you can
click
support
through,
us through
because
PayPal
it'll be
or
awesome,
Patreon.
and you know,
and
you
get
won't even
access
notice a
to
difference when you buy stuff.
extended
but,
episodes when
you
there
make a
are
little scratch and be really
such.
nice. I even posted a link a while back for that keyboard waffle maker. It looked really sweet. I kind of want it.
Yeah, the link's on the right-hand side of the page for all of that. Contact's all on the left, money's all on the right. Mm-hmm. And right after the outro, we are going to have Make a Believer from Monster on Sunday. That's their new release that they released last Friday.
Fucking A, yeah. Steve and Tally, they were pretty badass.
Yeah. So just remember, not all those who wander are lost. Thank you for listening to another episode of Atheist Nomads. You can find show notes and contact information at atheistnomads.com. Follow us on Twitter at Atheist Nomads, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/atheistnomads. Please subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcatcher of choice, and while you're there, feel free to leave us a review. Theme music is courtesy of Sturdy Fred. Until next time, this has been the Atheist Nomads.
Tell us about the song that we're going to play.
Okay,
What is
so we're going to
Yeah.
play "Make a Believer,"
Oh boy.
and this is our this is our ode to Ray Comfort.
Oh, yeah. So at the rally, we did a live version of the song dedicated to Ray Comfort because he was supposedly there at the Reason Rally.
Oh,
we
he
never
was
got to see
definitely
him.
there. He made a whole documentary about how he was there and asked really leading questions to people who couldn't answer.
And Eli Bosnick licked him.
I've
Yeah, I
heard
didn't
about
watch
this.
it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eli Bosnick from Scathing Atheists and God Awful Movies promised that he was going to lick Ray Comfort if he showed
Oh,
up,
oh,
and he did.
Actually, I know who Eli is.
Okay.
Now I feel stupid. But I don't think he was in his documentary, was he?
I doubt
Probably not.
I think he cut that out.
it. Yeah, I'm sure he would have cut that. Yeah, that would have been. Yeah.
So, yeah, here it is. Let's rock.
Yes.
Thanks, Ray, for coming.